Anyways, this week on the program, we talk about a movie that has had very many successors. Well, not successors. What would you call them? Letdowns, almost, pretty much. Uh,
I'll say that down.
yeah. We're looking at a movie where pretty much an orphan decides to beat everybody up and probably kill some people with his friends. We're looking at Mortal Kombat 2021. My name is Dylan.
And my name is Eli.
I'm just kidding. Unless it's two beers and a beer.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
You're killing me, Small.
Pizza time.
I'm Batman. Life was like a box of chocolates.
Goonies never say die.
You never know what you're gonna get. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
About a Mortal Kombat movie
Mhm.
that doesn't reference jokes.
That doesn't reference jokes?
Huh?
You said that doesn't reference jokes?
Well, I mean, like if we have an episode later on, we're like, oh, remember that time in Mortal Kombat
Oh.
95?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't warrant a joke between it.
Yeah.
Um,
I get that.
yeah, this is the last time we'll ever talk about it, so feel happy because we'll probably never talk about it again.
I'm ecstatic.
I'm excited. So we'll do the normal stuff. Initial thoughts. I enjoyed this movie. It's gotten kind of like mixed feelings or
I've
mixed
seen a lot of
reactions for
hate.
it.
I've seen a lot of hate.
Yeah, a
on this
lot of
movie.
people don't like it.
I don't know why. Like, would you rather have 1995 version of it?
Probably. Well, I mean, not me, but other people probably.
I don't know about that.
But if you think about it, like it kind of reminds me of like a Venom situation where
Mhm.
everyone like shit on it, and then now we're at the point where it's like, oh my god, like this is actually a pretty decent movie. Just people are giving it shit for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It's definitely what I would think a Mortal Kombat movie would be, on premise of gore and cursing. I will say the best part of the movie is Kano and Kano alone.
Oh, yeah. Kano's hilarious.
He's the
Like,
best. I don't know why.
yeah.
It's just he's funny, and he kind of in a movie where it's like kind of sort of serious, but not too serious. Um, like the plot of it's serious. But obviously it's a little more dramatized because it's a video game movie. What do you expect?
Yeah. Yeah.
But Kano is pretty much the best thing about this movie, hands down.
Yeah. I don't want to say he's like the comic relief, but he does make it less tense,
Mhm.
Because like throughout the movie, it's always like, like, oh, here's this, like it's really serious. And then Kano's just in the back. Like there's a scene I was watching right now, just to rewatch it, and I thought it was funny. You know how, okay, so I don't think this is a spoiler, but everyone has a mark, like
Mhm.
the champions of Earthrealm. And then Cole was just like, where's your marking? And Sonya Blade was just like, oh, I don't have one. And then in the very back, there's a faint sound, and it's just Kano saying, wah, wah.
Yeah.
And it made me laugh. I thought it was hilarious.
I noticed that I heard it so I watched the movie in the theaters. That's my dog. I watched the movies in the theater. I watched this movie in the theater, and in the theater we have like the big screen with the big sound, surround sound, whatever.
Yeah.
So when I watched it, I heard it, but I didn't believe that that's what it was. I thought it was like someone behind me going womp womp. But then I watched it at home, and I had the subtitles on normally, just because Mary can't really hear it very well.
Yeah.
So she likes to have subtitles on. So I put the subtitles on for her, and then I see Kano wah wah, and I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like it wasn't just someone behind me going like wah wah.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny. I laughed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's funny. Like the person behind me, like, haha, funny joke. And then it was like Kano. I'm like, that makes it like 10 times better.
Yeah, like any scene with Kano will have like a comic relief to it. Like when Reptile shows up
Hmm.
and then like Sonya just throws her or the Bowie knife and it just hits Kano on the leg.
Yeah,
I was like, come on, dude. Like, isn't he
Kano.
special forces? Like,
Yeah, Kano is like, I don't know. I really like this Kano. Kano, like in the
yeah,
games, I don't think he had that much of a comedic value to the games as much as I remember.
he's more
He
of
was
a
more
dick
just
in
kind
the
of like a
game.
serious bounty hunter,
Hmm.
mercenary type guy.
Yeah.
Especially even like the '95 version. That's who he was. He was serious. He was like he tried to crack a couple jokes,
Hmm.
but nothing really landed. Nothing like this Kano where he's like sitting there. Um, I mean, we'll talk about it more later. But one of the scenes I really liked was, oh god, I'm trying to think of what he said. I don't remember what he. There's a bunch of scenes that I really like of his. One of my favorite ones is when he gets his is like con or whatever it's called. Like
Hmm.
he
Oh,
gets his eyes. He's getting
His
upset.
Arcana.
Yeah, he's like getting upset at everybody, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Pass me a fucking egg roll," and then like it's just funny. It's the
It's
delivery.
funny, like, you know, and I don't know, like this movie was interesting. It really was interesting, and I really liked it because I don't want to say like it did a Resident Evil thing where it kind of just made its own story,
Hmm.
but it brought back a lot of the characters, like the main characters,
Hmm.
and then it added its own little twist to it.
Yeah. The one thing I did like, um, one major thing I want to say that I liked, was the how graphic it was.
Oh yeah, we finally
Um,
got the thing we've been asking for.
yeah, exactly. Like so, like when we talked about a couple episodes ago, well, it was like 4 episodes now.
Yeah.
On '95, that it didn't feel like a like it felt like a Mortal Kombat movie because it was Mortal Kombat.
Hmm.
But it didn't feel like the game because the game was centered around so much violence. When this one is like you start the movie, I think what like 2, 3, 4 minutes in, and there's already
Yeah,
like
there's violence. It's like
there's
there's
all
blood.
blood, like all this stuff. I'm like, dude, like this. That's when I knew that this movie was going to be good. Is when they how they started the movie.
Yeah.
And I told you this before, and I think I probably talked about it here. But when they Warner Brothers does this thing where when the movie is getting closer to coming out, some
Hmm.
movies they'll release like the first 10 minutes. I didn't touch that one bit because I wanted to be surprised when I got into the theater. Because
Hmm.
if I had watched it, whether it be a theater at home, and I watched the first 10 minutes, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, I already saw it." Like, I wouldn't really
Yeah.
care as much. I wouldn't be excited to see the rest of the movie. I mean, I probably would still, but just rewatching that 10-minute mark, I would have been like, "Oh, whatever. I've already
Yeah.
seen
Like
it."
here, you know what happens.
Yeah,
You're not too caught off guard.
yeah.
Um. Yeah.
I
Oh God,
mean,
sorry.
and ideally, it's just like this is Mortal Kombat. You play the game, even the newer ones, they're like way more graphic than the ones from like '92 and
Hmm.
on. Like it's way more graphic, a lot more body parts flying, like a lot of different things. I just think that in general, overall, this is probably the best video game movie. Although I will say, I thought about it the other day. You know what movie I liked that got a lot of shit? The
Oof.
more recent Tomb Raider movie.
That one was a pretty alright movie. That wasn't a bad movie.
I thought it was good. And it's probably because that I really like that Tomb Raider game that is based off of the
Hmm.
like 2014 Tomb Raider, the reboot.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, like, people when it comes, the reason video game movies are like hard to make is because people already have this idea of it. And like Mortal Kombat, like obviously when the first movie came out, the cabinet game was only out for like 2 years.
Hmm.
So there wasn't really much to base it off of. It was just a tournament,
Yeah.
which is what they made it into. But like Resident Evil, right?
Hmm.
There's a bunch of different stories in Resident Evil. Like they all take place, and you can only fit that in one movie. And then people are like, "Oh, this sucks." Oh, I mean, they don't hate Resident Evil movies because of that. They hate it because like it did its own thing. It
Mhm.
wasn't Resident Evil anymore. But it's like it's hard to watch a video game movie when you've played the video game because you're expecting so much.
Yeah.
But again, this isn't a 40-hour movie. This is a like 2-hour movie max,
Right.
and you can only fit so much into that.
Yeah. I kind of praise Resident Evil and this movie for
Mhm.
kind of going off script to an
Mhm.
extent.
Yeah.
Um, Especially this movie, they didn't stray too far, but they definitely added new flair to it.
Yeah.
In for example, the main character is a character we've never seen before in any of the games that I
Mhm.
know of. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's some person that's like, actually, in Mortal Kombat 4, we actually meet him. I don't know.
I can tell you for sure, like he's a brand new created character.
Yeah, like I'm almost like 95% sure that he doesn't exist in any of the games.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you add a new character that's supposed to be the central character. One of those characters, like he's pretty much the one that brings everybody together at the end, but he's not the initial person that's supposed to start everything, as other movies would do it, where you
Yeah.
have like I don't know what's like X-Men First Class when they go through and they're like recruiting everybody.
Mhm.
That's a central character bringing everybody in. While this guy's like, I'm not special. I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to be there, kind of thing. But he wants to protect his family. Like he's not he's a central character, but not central enough to where he's not necessary till the end of the movie. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
And I guess the thing is like I don't want to say it's overplayed, but it kind of is, where it's like, oh, I'm just a regular Joe and I'm trying to do anything I can to protect my family. That's been done like a million times. And that's kind of what Cole Young is,
Mhm.
with the fact that he is like the chosen one, you know? Like, but the thing is, with Mortal Kombat, you would think the chosen one is Liu Kang, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's what it was in 1995. Like, Liu Kang was the American who didn't know about all this, and then he became part of it. And, you know, he was the prophet and he just kind of did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. Right.
And instead of like, and that's what I see a lot of people don't like, is that the fact that we have this entirely new character who's the chosen one. And I don't know, I feel like people just need to get over it. It's not a big deal.
Mhm.
It's new. Like, if you want that kind of storyline, just play the video games, honestly, or just watch 1995.
Or
That's basically what
I
it is.
mean, don't but do.
Don't, but do. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it really satisfies your cravings, then yeah,
Yeah.
watch fucking
Overall,
1995.
right. Overall, this movie's really good. I think.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I think that if you really look at it, if you look at it from like an outside in, I can see where people have problems.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's even easy seeing it from just someone that's watched it a few times. I know where the problems lie. I know where people hate and people don't hate. I just think that this movie got a lot more hate than it deserved.
Oh yeah.
Um, and
But yeah, you
I
already
was to say like
know.
it's one of those things
Yeah.
that like we just talked about before we
Uh-huh.
started recording. Like it's just like Venom. Like
Hmm.
got a lot of hate that it didn't deserve, but ended up being a really good movie, in my opinion.
I mean, all the hate that you see is it's always gonna come. I mean, for the most part, it always comes from people who like they know the Mortal Kombat lore, they know how it's supposed to be, and they just can't accept that the studio didn't want it to be just like straight from the video game. They want it to be its own thing,
Yeah.
which is you got to be open to creativity, or else you're never really gonna enjoy a movie. Like,
Right.
I mean, don't go off the rails and be like, all right, kill every fucking main character and then introduce these new people that we have no idea who they are.
Yeah, we're gonna get meat from Mortal Kombat 3.
Yeah, don't bring in like fucking Nightwolf, even though he was shouted out in the
Dude,
begin. Or yeah,
the
dude, that
amount
was
of
crazy.
the amount of Easter eggs.
It was so
Are they called
funny and
Easter
so
eggs
cool.
in movies? I feel like they're
Um,
called something else.
I feel like,
I think they're called
are we
something.
going into spoiler stuff now, or like, do you want to
No,
say that
not
for a little
quite. I
bit?
just want to know if it's
Okay.
called Easter eggs or not.
Oh yeah, I would say like foreshadowing a little bit.
Foreshadowing references. I mean, whatever. We'll get into spoiler territory here in a second. I want to go off topic because this has
Mhm.
been like the talk of the fucking town for a minute. It has nothing to do with Mortal Kombat. I just want to voice my opinion.
Mhm.
So, did you see what happened this last weekend with Mayweather and
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul?
Yeah, I don't know if it was like a publicity stunt. I know that Jake Paul getting hit in the face that many times wasn't a publicity stunt.
No, his Mayweather's security team was like, "Don't touch Floyd." Like you're not. And the thing is about like those face offs.
Mhm.
I mean, you know more
Mhm.
about UFC and boxing than I do. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to be touching each other, right? Unless it's like
No,
shaking hands or anything.
it's a complete respect thing. Like the thing is, it was between the fight is Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather.
Mhm.
Like that's what the fight is, and
Yeah.
obviously it shows them kind of trash talking each other. That's just the sport. You want to get inside your opponent's head so that they're
Mhm.
not ready and they're mentally not in it, and you know you have an advantage there. But the whole time, Jake Paul is like shit talking and acting like it's a game and being very disrespectful in a sport that demands a lot of respect.
Mhm.
Because if you don't respect each other, then what's the point of having an actual fight if you actually like hate each other's guts and
Yeah.
you just want to hurt each other? Because like you've seen the video, like Floyd is like super fucking pissed, and
Well, because he knows he's a world class champion fighter. He knows how to do the face offs. He knows how to give
he knows how to
respect where
act
respect is earned and
professionally, you
everything
know.
like that. He knows,
And
and he just knows that Jake like crossed the line. And
yeah,
honestly, it's because in my opinion, I think it's just because one, Logan knew he was gonna do that. He
yeah,
literally said that he knew that Jake was like, I'm gonna fuck with Floyd. He didn't know to what extent. I'll give him that.
yeah, yeah,
The most I think Logan probably figured was like the shoe untying thing and probably talking to him. Whatever. He didn't know what Jake was gonna do. So I'll give Logan the pass on that. I don't think one, I don't think this is a fair fight. Two, I don't think this fight needs to even happen.
no,
I
it's
think
kind
it's
of
one of those
just
things that's like, don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna watch the fight in some
yeah,
sort of fashion, whether it be highlights the next day or watching it that night. Whatever. But I think Jake is like a terrible person.
mhm,
Just in general, not even like as a boxer. He's a good athlete, but
mhm.
his boxing record is people that aren't boxers, except for freaking Ben Askren, who was retired for years.
Yeah. The thing is, like,
Came back and
it
looked
takes
fatter than me. I just want to point that out.
the thing is, so Nate Robinson, KSI, these like they may be athletes, but they're not conditioned to fight. Like
I think KSI is
conditioning is,
more conditioned to fight, and
yeah.
KSI didn't even fight Jake. His brother did.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was Logan. Never mind.
Yeah, Logan.
Um,
But either way, KSI is more trained fighter than Nate Robinson, who is a
yeah,
former NBA star.
yeah. The thing is, like, um, fighting. Yeah, he is. Fighting is a very demanding sport. Like you have to condition for months, you know. And Ben Askren didn't condition whatsoever. This was literally a fight where
Because he
he's
thought it
like,
was a
okay,
joke.
he's like, I'm gonna make a lot of money off of this. It doesn't matter.
Win or lose, he makes
So
money.
yeah, win or lose, he makes money, and he's retired. I know that Ben Askren has like a really good chin on him. You know, he's a really tough guy,
Mm-hmm.
but he just wasn't conditioned for the fight, and I don't think it matters either way. Like you beat someone who wasn't fucking conditioned for the fight, who isn't a boxer,
Mm-hmm.
because boxing is a very like disciplined sport. Like you really need to know what you're doing. He was
You
an
know what you're
MMA
doing. You need to
fighter.
be patient. You can't go in for the punch just like UFC. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get
You
me
can't
wrong.
go,
UFC is also a patient sport,
yeah. You
but
can't
a
go
lot
for
of
the
those guys
knockout.
just run into it.
Like boxing isn't a highlight sport where like you're just looking for a knockout every single time. It's
Mhm.
very patient, and you go rounds and rounds and rounds. Where UFC is more like, you can either knock them out, referee stoppage, submission. There's different ways to win, and in
Mhm.
boxing, there's like two or three.
Yeah, I also wanted to say there's one thing that I really liked about the press conference.
Mhm.
It was Floyd's and Logan's banter between each other.
Yeah,
Floyd was like, "I'm gonna do this for Japan. I'm gonna fix what you did to Japan." I'm like, "Oh, he's bringing up Japan." And then in my head, I'm like, "That happened like 4 or 5 years fucking years ago." I mean,
yeah,
come on, give the kid a break. Don't get me wrong. There is
it was wrong.
nothing okay with what he did. Nothing. But
Mhm.
it's been a long time. I don't want to say not in my eyes because I still think he's kind of a dick. But I think he's earned his place back on the internet from a bunch of people. That is
He's
me.
got, yeah, he's definitely gotten better
Yeah.
as a person. Obviously, when it comes to the fighting game, like you want, I don't know, you want attention. You got to
Mhm.
hype up a fight, and what hypes up a fight more than just trash talking your
Yeah.
opponent.
No,
That's
and I
the
totally
thing.
get why
Yeah,
Floyd said what he did.
yeah,
I'm just saying, like, come on, man. Like, think of something else.
yeah.
And then what Logan said is what really set me off. I laughed so hard
Mhm.
and I shouldn't laugh because it's terrible. Freaking Logan was like, because Floyd was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it for Japan." Not making fun of Floyd because I think he's a fucking world class boxer, an amazing person. Um,
Yeah.
he can knock my ass out any day. I'll fucking pay him to knock my ass out. Um, but and then Logan was like, "Actually, Floyd, you're not 50-0. You're 51-1 because didn't you beat your wife?" And I'm
Damn.
like,
Yeah.
"Excuse me?" I'm
Yeah, I
like,
remember
"Shit."
that.
Like I didn't like I laughed, but it was one of those laughs like a weird concerned self-conscious laugh where I'm like,
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. It's kind of awkward. It was really awkward. Like,
it was an awkward
that's what
thing to
real.
say, but I get why he's.
Yeah,
It definitely shut Floyd down for a second. I think he wasn't expecting him to say
yeah. And I mean, there's that, and then
that.
there's what Jake Paul does, which is just he he says
Disrespect.
a lot of shit. He runs his mouth,
That's all
and he
he
thinks
is,
it's just
though.
a
That's all he
game.
does. Like when he
Yeah.
was offering McGregor a fight, there was no like.
He was calling him out for like a shit ton of different things. Like that one TikTok video he made, calling him a bitch, calling his wife ugly, and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Saying Dana White's a pussy because he won't let him fight, and it's, bro.
But so answer this question for me because I don't know if this is true or not. Does Dana have the final say for McGregor fighting, or is it just McGregor
Means
and Dana has to like oversee the contract?
like to let him fight, like like a
Like so,
boxer.
if let's say for conversation's sake, and we won't spend too much time on this. I know people are probably like, "Oh my god, fucking go over this," but I just want to ask a question. So if for conversation's sake, if McGregor was like, "All right, Jake, let's fight," does Dana have the final say, even if it's a boxing match, or is Jake just
Yeah,
going after Dana for no reason?
it's up to Dana White because McGregor's still like on in a contract. Like there's like a lot of fighters have different contracts for different things. Like some of them have like five fight contracts,
Mhm.
which is like 2 years, or some of them have multi-fight contracts. And McGregor, I don't really know what he's in right now, just because he
He's
hasn't
kind of like
fought in
the
a long time.
Undertaker.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
he
not.
kind of.
I mean, I don't mean like he's the Undertaker of UFC. I just mean like his contract style is like he'll show up every now and then and get paid for it.
Yeah, I mean the last time he fought was with Habib, and he got his ass whooped. And he has another fight coming up with, I think it's Dustin Poirier,
I thought he already
but
did that fight.
did he? I
I
don't
thought
know.
he
I
did.
can't remember. I haven't
I think his
like.
last. I think he already did the Poirier fight because didn't Poirier like kick his ass? And then Connor lost, and then he was like, "Oh man, this is the guy." And that I think that's when Jake started coming after him was after the Poirier fight. Is that his name? Poirier?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Somebody tell me how to pronounce it. I feel bad for messing up his name, but I don't watch UFC or boxing or anything. I watch
No,
wrestling, as you can tell.
so the thing is, what they want to do is kind of like a 3 fight thing.
Mhm.
So, I think McGregor he beat Poirier once, and then Poirier defeated him,
So this
and
would be like
now
the
they kind of want to
tiebreaker.
do like a third one, yeah.
Okay.
Because the UFC does trilogies like that. Like there's been
I know
like
there's like ones where it's like so and so and this person 2 or
yeah,
3 or whatever.
like they run it back. Just just you know
I know they do
like
those. I think those are actually pretty interesting, like to see where they started, where they ended up. But whatever.
yeah. I mean they're pretty interesting.
I
But
don't know.
like I said, to do that kind of a fight with Jake Paul, it really is just Dana White's like, no, I'm not gonna do that because he's stupid. Like he says a lot of stupid things. He's doing it for money. He's doing it on fucking Triller, which isn't like I don't know. I
Triller,
don't
I
feel like
might
it's
add,
notorious or
is a
anything.
stupid app.
Hmm.
Like, if you want, like, don't get me wrong, Triller in their own sense knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing when they sign Jake Paul to like do Triller events, boxing
Hmm.
Triller. They know what they're getting themselves into. They know that they're going to get money. Good for them for understanding how money works. But I think Triller is a bullshit app, especially for that last fight with Jake. That fight lasted like a minute and a half.
Yeah, it was
And you
stupid.
had
Like
openers for the whole fucking fight. You had Justin Bieber, like all these different musical artists,
it
and
was
then
like
one
40
fight.
minutes.
Huh?
Like it was 40 minutes of music
Yeah.
and like
There wasn't like any.
games, and it was stupid.
You had the main card fight, and you didn't have any fights leading up to it, which I think
Yeah,
was
like it's a terrible event. Like it really is just for your entertainment. Like it's not anything serious. Like if
because
you
that's what he
want
is. He's a fucking entertainer. He's not a boxer.
yeah, like if you want to watch real fights, like watch Bellator, watch like UFC, watch boxing, watch any of that. Like those are
I
real
mean,
fights.
for personal preference, and I mean this in every way possible, I'd
Mm.
rather watch freaking 205 live than watch Jake Paul's fucking fight. And if you guys don't know what 205 is, that's the cruiserweight division in wrestling.
Yeah, like that's more entertaining because
Way
there's
more
actual like story
because
behind it.
everyone's freaking
It's not just
flipping
a bunch
over.
of
Everyone's
yeah,
like
it's
doing
not just a
flips
bunch
over
of
the
shit
top rope
talking.
and shit like that.
Yeah,
If you can't
yeah,
tell, I
for
like
real.
wrestling. Oh, and this shirt too. This is my favorite sweater so far.
Oh,
It's the Fiend. It's an amazing
yeah,
sweater. Anyways, I just thought I want to talk about that because we're talking about fighting.
yeah,
I will never talk about it again. I just wanted to input that Jake Paul's a douchebag. I hate him. I don't hate him because I don't hate him because I don't like hating people I've never met or I don't really know. But I don't like his character because I think Jake Paul, the person, is completely different than Jake Paul, the fighter. Because
yeah.
I've seen him be a nice person. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
him do okay things. I won't say good things because he's a complete dick and all the other things that he's done. But I've seen him
Mm-hmm.
do okay things, and I think Jake Paul, the person, and the brother is probably super cool and nice. But
Mm-hmm.
Jake Paul, the character, the fighter, total dick bag. But
Yeah,
whatever. I digress. I don't think this fight should be happening, but it's gonna happen. They're gonna make a fuck ton of money whether Logan Paul wins or loses. It happens on like June 6th. I almost said January. June 6th or 8th.
yeah,
Happens pretty it's
something like
happening
that.
pretty quickly.
Like a month.
But I digress. I think it's a terrible fight. I just thought I'd mention it because we're talking about like a fighting movie. And
Mm-hmm.
that what's his name? Cole Young is like a cage fighter.
Yeah, he's a former MMA fighter,
And now he just does cage
and
fighting on the side.
yeah, for whatever amount of money, I don't know.
Two
I
hundred
don't know how
dollars
he
and
supports his
get my ass
family like
beat.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. But
Anyways,
anyway,
I just wanted to talk about that for a second because it was frequently mentioned in social media for the past couple of days. We're just now getting a chance to record an episode this week, other than the Star Wars episode that we put out on the 5th. Anyways, so this is spoiler territory. If you guys have not seen this movie, too. It is able to be watched for free on HBO Max. You can also go watch it in the theater if the theaters are open to you. But if you want to stay home watching HBO Max with the subscription, we are not sponsored by HBO Max. I wish we were because a lot of our movies coming up involve HBO Max releases. So I'm just saying, Coke sponsored me too.
Coke Zero.
Dude, Coke Zero's the best.
You know.
You're the one
I
that
love
gets
it.
Diet Coke, though, you loser.
I like Coke Zero.
Yeah, I mean, you
I
get
don't drink
Diet
it a
Coke.
lot.
Oh, fucking loser.
It's the same thing.
It's
kind
not.
of.
It tastes different.
It tastes different. Whatever. It's fine. I just don't like regular Coke. It doesn't taste that good.
No, regular Coke. It
Really
doesn't
sweet.
taste. It doesn't taste. It doesn't taste
Hold
as
on.
good to me.
Yeah, as a kid, you love sugary shit, but
Oh man, we're getting off topic again.
we're old now. No, anyway, yeah, the movie.
Spoiler territory. If you guys don't care about spoilers, please continue. If you do care and you don't want this movie spoiled for you, it's been out for about a little over a month, if not a little less than a. Well, actually, no, it's about been a little less than a month
This
now.
movie?
Yeah, it's only. I think it came out mid-April.
Dude, I don't even remember when this movie came out.
I think it came out
It's
mid-April.
been a minute, yeah.
So it's only been about less than a month. So go ahead and watch it if you guys haven't watched it. Pause this section right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, pause it. If you're listening to it in the audio portion, pause this as well. In the audio portion, which I realized because I don't know how to do it on here yet. The audio portion will have ads, and the YouTube portion will not have ads. So that's cool. So if you want an ad-free experience, audio listener, please come watch it on YouTube. See our pretty faces. I mean, mine. Eli's okay. I mean,
Oh, whatever. We're the same person, just different ethnicity.
we're pretty much identical twins.
Yeah.
But yeah, so go ahead and do the ad, and then we will be right back with Mortal Kombat 2021 spoiler territory again. Last chance. I will not say anything ever again about it. All right, spoiler territory. So, I have one pain point I want to talk about. Reptile.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
in the fuck was that?
Okay. Go
I
ahead.
don't
Sorry.
know. I can't, man. He looks like the lizard from Amazing Spider-Man. I just can't, dude. It threw me off. I was like, man, is that Reptile? Because it's like I know it's like one of the games. I think he can go invisible for a second, like one of the special moves or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, is that Reptile? Oh, I gotta sneeze now. Fuck. Sorry. Audio or video listeners has got like a good look at me sneezing. I hurt my neck doing that. Anyways, Reptile in this movie is just terrible. I like the idea of putting him in it,
hmm
but I just don't like how they made him look. He looked like a oh man. He looked like Yoshi from the Super Mario Bros.
Yeah. Honestly, here's the thing. I get that they're trying to make everything more realistic. I didn't want Reptile to look realistic. I wanted him to look like Reptile.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, Reptile talks. He has dialogue. He's not just a fucking. They made him just a monster, like an
Oh, I was like, he
abomination.
talks in this movie?
No, he
Like, wait
doesn't
a
talk.
minute.
Like, they literally made him a monster.
Yeah.
And if you played the games, like people thought he was
Wasn't he a
like part of
person
like
at first? Sorry, wasn't he a person at first?
that was his like disguise. Like he in the original game, he would like take off a mask and he would just show like his
Ah,
reptile
that's
face.
right. That was his fatality.
Yeah, people
Sorry, I cut you
thought
off. I just had to
no,
get it
you're
out there
good.
because I would have forgot.
People thought he was part of like a different clan because like you had the Shirai Ryu and then you had the Lin Kuei. Then there's a green ninja, or yeah, ninja, and they thought it was something else.
Mighty Morphin Reptile Ranger.
So yeah, he was a problem. When I saw that, I was kind of like that's weird. I mean, that was like my only like and he's only there for like 5 minutes and he gets his
It
ass.
wasn't long enough for it to like make the movie bad for me.
The
It
thing
was
is,
just one
like
of those
his,
things that I was like,
yeah.
that is that Reptile?
The thing is, it's like say he had 5 minutes of screen time.
Mhm.
2.5 of those minutes were him being invisible
Yes, you weren't even
because he was sneaking around.
yeah.
And the thing is, when he dies, I thought it was I thought it was funny and I thought it was dumb because Kano like reaches in, grabs his heart like one of his fatalities, right?
Mhm.
And he just looks at the heart and smiles and he's just like, Kano wins.
Yeah,
And I thought
that's
that was
another thing
like,
I have a
I was
problem
like,
with.
dude, that's kind of cheesy.
That's another thing I have a problem with this movie.
They have
What a
cheesy
perfect
lines.
segue.
Like,
I hate it. I hate it that they do Kano wins. Or when Kung Lao does his fatality
yeah,
and then
yeah.
he's like flawless victory. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I mean, I thought hearing the Mortal Kombat theme 5 different times in one scene was bad. This is just fucking terrible.
Here's the thing, like when Sub-Zero's talking to Shang Tsung
Mhm.
and he's like, go now, like be Han. He's like, I am no longer Bihan. I am Sub-Zero. Like when he said that, I was like, okay, that's like from the game, you know, like
Yeah.
he announces himself as Sub-Zero.
Mhm.
And then they kind of kept going with like video game lines, like
Yeah.
Kano wins, flawless victory. I can't even remember if they say fatality or not. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a fatality in there.
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I know there's a lot of lines. Like, oh, when Jax is fighting Sub-Zero,
Mhm.
I thought it was funny. I don't know, like there's stuff that's unintentionally funny. When he's fighting Sub-Zero and he's trying to prove how tough he is, he's like, I've done 6 tours. And then he gets his ass handed to him. Because that's like a scene right before
Yeah.
his arms get frozen and they get crushed.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, they really made him say that for no reason.
Yeah, he's like, I've done 6 tours. Oh, there go my arms.
I thought I honestly thought he was dead. I know he's not because of the trailers,
Yeah.
but the way he fell and his face hit like the concrete, it made it look
Oh
like
yeah.
he was
No,
fucking
it
dead.
it definitely would have been one of those scenes that like they could have easily just killed him off there
Yeah,
and
which
done
I'm glad they
something.
didn't.
And they probably thought about it too.
Hmm.
Like when you make a movie, certain directors do it. I know James Gunn does it a lot,
Hmm.
but they'll draw out each scene before they put it together and like be like, no, this isn't good. They probably filmed that like, okay, we're gonna kill Jax and we'll bring in like freaking Johnny Cage or something.
Yeah.
And then the guy was like, no, don't kill me off that quickly. Or someone was like, oh, we probably shouldn't do that. Like, oh, okay, we'll just bring it back in.
Because the thing is, like Jax is like he's an important character. Like
Mhm.
he's with Sonya. Like they're in special forces together. You know.
Right.
So I feel like it would have been stupid if they like cut him off
Yeah. I
or
get
cut
why
him
they
off.
did that too. It was kind of supposed to be like the lead up
Hmm.
to be like, oh shit, like Sub-Zero ain't fucking around.
Hmm.
Which I also want to point out, this isn't a problem for the movie. I think it's actually kind of cool that they're setting up Sub-Zero to be Noob Saibot,
Yes. Yeah. I thought that
which
was
I
really
thought was
cool.
cool because Sub-Zero, like if you play the games, well, Eli, I know you play the games. I play the games.
Yeah.
If you guys play the games, Sub-Zero is blue, but in this movie he's black, and
Yeah.
also Bihan is Noob Saibot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like,
When
if
I
you're just
first.
setting up like a
Uh-huh.
character, I get it. I totally get setting up a character. One thing I kind of have an issue with is that they're setting up this character thinking that it's going to be a whole universe. Plus, that actor signed on for 4 more movies if this movie went well. It's already doing well. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It did pretty good.
And he signed on for 4 movies. I'm like, okay, keeping that in mind and then watching the movie for like the third time because I actually really enjoy this movie. I know they're setting him up to be new Saibot. They might call him
Yeah.
something else in the movie, like I'm not Noob Saibot. They probably just call him Saibot,
Yeah. I mean,
just
like.
because it's kind of stupid to call him Noob.
Mhm.
I think it's
Yeah, that's more of like a video game thing. I mean, they didn't even call Reptile Reptile. They call him something else, like Scython or something.
they called him a bunch of different things. Then he finally
Yeah,
got the name Reptile at like MK9 or something like
yeah,
that.
he's
Probably
had different
later,
names
actually
before.
earlier than that. I think it was like MK4 or something
Yeah.
maybe MK3.
But I think it's cool that they're kind of setting stuff up for more because it's good. Like if that is the beginning, I want to see how good it gets after that because like if people think that's bad, then it can only get better from there. You know?
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those ones that like this is establishing
Hmm.
the bar. They're
Yeah.
setting it to where it needs to be, so that come a second movie, they can just go above and beyond.
Yeah. You
However,
need to start somewhere.
they
And the
can.
thing is, yeah. The thing is, it's not god awful. Like it's good. It's a
No,
good movie.
it's a good one.
And like I said earlier in the recording, like not to spoil anything early, but like there are callbacks because I mean there from what I saw, there's a few, but the ones that I remember like vividly
Mm-hmm.
is Nightwolf is in one of the pages, like because Sonya and Jax are tracking down all the the champions for Earthrealm,
Mm-hmm.
and Nightwolf is one of them. I don't know why. I guess they weren't tracking them, but Kotal Khan was there too.
Mm-hmm.
He was a golden statue, and I was like,
Like
oh,
an
that's cool.
Aztec
He's
warrior or something like that.
Yeah, because he's not Earthrealm and he's not Outer World either. He's like a different. He's like that middle section.
He's
I can't
somewhere.
remember what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
But he had like his own tribe. Like he was his own thing.
You also see Baraka later,
What was
which
that?
I thought was cool. You see Baraka later.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Which.
a quick glimpse. It might not be Baraka, but it's his
Mhm.
um, kind.
Yeah, and the thing is,
Is
here's
that
the thing.
racist?
What's that?
I was like, is that racist?
No,
Okay,
species. I
cool.
don't know.
I
Not
don't know what
humans.
their race is called. The teethers. Nah.
Oh, they're ugly. What I didn't like, kinda, is like we all know who Baraka is. He's a dude with like fucking knives that come out like that.
Wolverine.
Why did they kind of give Cole Young the same thing, except like he has like that shell, like he has that armor around his body.
Yeah, I would remind it reminded me of like Black Widow's little fucking
Yeah.
baton sticks. I didn't really think about that.
Well, the thing is, when I first saw that, I was like, hey, that looks like Baraka,
Yeah.
like or his like what he does. But
Mhm.
obviously, I knew it wasn't Baraka. I knew it was Cole Young. I was like, but the thing is, like the whole like Arcana thing is new. Oh, I don't know if it's new, but I haven't seen it until this movie. Whereas like it's something that has to be kind of introduced to the champion,
Mhm.
because like Kano, he gets super pissed off, and then that laser just shoots out of his fucking eye,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh shit, that's his fucking Arcana. Cole Young, that outer shield, armor, and the things that shoot out of his arm, that's his Arcana. Sonya Blade has that like purple force thing, like
It's like a blaster.
yeah,
Yeah.
like she has that, and then Jax has his fucking arms that are super strong. And
Lou,
then
I
you
think
have Liu
Lou's
Kang and
Arcana is the hat. Not Lou, Kung Lao.
Kung
And then
Lao.
Lou's
Yeah,
is
his
the
is the
dragon.
hat. Yeah, like they all have their Arcana, which they have to develop through training and all that stuff. And for like Cole Young, it kind of just happens because he was like under extreme stress
They
of
kind
like.
of they kind of like they how do I say this? They kind of contradicted themselves with that. I
Mhm.
think that's probably another issue that if we really think about it, after based off what you said,
Yeah.
that if it was supposed to be under a lot of training
Mhm.
and Kano, Sonya, Jax, and Cole got it under being in like immense pressure, getting hurt a lot or anything like that, kind of contradicts the idea of it being a trained thing.
Yeah. Not only that, but you know how all of them are kind of chosen? They're the champions of
Mhm.
Earthrealm. like I get that, that's kind of like Mortal Kombat. In 1995, the people that were chosen to be in Mortal Kombat were the people who were worthy enough to be in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But like for Jax, he killed someone who had the marking of the dragon.
Hmm.
So he inherited that. Same thing with Kano.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of like, so it just transfers between people.
That, yeah, I mean, I
That's
don't think
something I
that,
didn't like. I thought that was kind of weird.
yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of weird to have like, I get why the dragon's
Hmm.
there, like the Mortal Kombat dragon.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of stupid why it's there. Like,
Well, like, oh god.
well, because like 'cause with the Mortal Kombat, like even the '95 version, the '97,
Hmm.
you look at the animated series, the dragon is just a symbol of Mortal Kombat. You have the dragon, you're like, cool.
Hmm.
Like, not only do us as fans be like, oh, it's Mortal Kombat, assuming that the universe, if I'm thinking correctly, the universe is like, when you see that emblem, you're near
Hmm.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But in this movie, it's like, uh, not really a birthmark, but like a birthmark where you take it from someone and it's just transferable, and all you see is the logo for fucking however long this movie is, an hour and 50 minutes. And you're like, isn't the logo just supposed to signify that it's Mortal Kombat and not a thing
Like
that
a
lets you in, like a
like a
VIP pass?
christening, kind of.
Yeah,
Like I earned this mark, which because it's weird because like Cole Young didn't earn it. He was born with it. He was a chosen one because he was a descendant of Hanzo.
hmm,
You know, that's why he was the chosen one because he was there to defeat. Or not defeat, but win Mortal Kombat.
yeah,
And everyone else, like Sonya didn't have it, and Kano fucking slit a guy's throat to get it, and Jax killed like the person who was like misusing it, and so he inherited it.
hmm,
And it's like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. I don't mean to like nitpick it. I don't want to sound like one of those fucking Mortal Kombat nerds. I don't want to sound like the people who hate the movie because I don't hate the movie. I really like the movie.
yeah. Uh,
Um,
it,
one
it,
thing though. Oh, go ahead.
oh no,
Sorry.
you go because I probably was gonna repeat what you said.
I was just gonna say one thing that did bother me a little bit. So I really love Liu Kang. I really love Kung Lao too. Like they're really badass characters, not only in the movie but in like the video game. I don't like. I get that Cole Young is a new character. He's the chosen one. He's a descendant of Hanzo and all that stuff, right?
Hmm.
I don't like that they kind of like made Liu Kang and Kung Lao like kind of side characters, like not side supporting characters, I guess, because they weren't like super duper involved in everything. They're just there and they're training with Raiden, and they're there to support Cole Young, you know.
Yeah, they're just
Which in
supporting
retro,
characters.
yeah, like which in retrospect, like Kung Lao was the one who won the Mortal Kombat tournament, like in the original, like he won the Mortal Kombat tournament.
Yeah,
And in this movie, I get that everyone's kind of meeting themselves in Earthrealm. Um, it kind of feels like they're not a team, like they're supposed to be.
hmm,
Because like in the 1995 version, by the end they're like buddy buddy, they're cool with each other. And
they're
this
all
one,
hugging, and then Shao Kahn's like, "You," and everyone's like,
yeah.
"Ah."
And in this one, they're kind of like they're not against each other, but they don't support each other a lot. They're just kind of like we have to be with each other
They're kind of
because we're
just
the
like,
chosen ones.
they're kind of like coworkers at this point. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
not like how we are, or
yeah.
other
It kind of like they
other
see each
game,
other.
but like kind of like how like they're just kind of there, where it's like, oh, I don't like you, but I'm okay with
Yeah, it's like they haven't gotten used to each other, and if they are gonna make like a cinematic universe out of this and have more installations, that could change, obviously.
you. MKCU.
Yeah, MKCU. Um, that could change because they can just like start growing as a family and then they get really together and who knows, one of them dies, it's more emotional for the audience. But right now it's kind of like they obviously don't know each other. Like Jax and Sonya do, but as for everybody else, not really.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, one of the things I wanted to say that I did like about this was the fatalities.
Hmm.
Probably one of the other best things in this
Yeah,
movie. Just because it's like I said at the beginning, where it was, this is Mortal Kombat
yeah,
in live action form. Where, I mean, granted, you had like Goro show up, and that's all CG.
mm.
Um, but even then, like you have the fatality with Kung Lao and forgot her name.
Melina,
No, something.
Nitara,
The huh?
Nitara,
Yeah, it's with an N. I guess.
yeah,
But like that fatality was super cool.
yeah, yeah,
And then Cole's fatality against Goro, Scorpions was kind of meh. Same with Cabal's when he died.
mm.
But like some of the fatalities were super cool, some of them are kind of lackluster. That's one of the things that really shines in this movie is the visual effects and the graphic, how graphic the movie is. Oh, and the practical effects were like a good chunk of the martial arts were performed by people and not just like
Yeah,
thrown in there in like a computer. Like obviously the guy that plays Hanzo and Sub Zero, they're older, they can't do all those flips and shit. But they did a lot of those stunts practical, whether it
yeah,
was stunt double or not. Like a lot of that is like real people flipping around and shit.
hmm,
I think that's super cool. I think in a movie like that, it's kind of needed only because that it kind of sets the ground to be like the Jackie Chan movies or the Bruce Lee and Jet Li, where like a lot of those stunts are practical.
yeah,
If not like 95% of those movies are practical stunts, where it's a real person. I mean, especially Jackie Chan. I mean, he did almost all of his stunts. There's only been a few stunts that I know of that he had to get someone else to do it.
hmm,
Um, but he's done most of his stunts, and that Batman's fucking indestructible.
yeah,
But even then, like just the idea of the practical effects, the visual effects, and then just the amount of gore in the movie, I think
hmm,
what really sets that movie above the other ones.
yeah.
I mean,
Like overall,
'95 though had practical effects. Like
mm,
the fighting was them fighting. I get that. I can totally agree with that. But this is Mortal Kombat rather than
yeah. Plus, it told a little more of a story. Like not like a huge like you had to really pay attention to it, but it told more of a story like it was supposed to, you know. But overall, like this movie was really good. Like the people that complain, they just complain because it's different than the video game.
the other. Yeah. One thing I also appreciate, and hopefully no one takes this the wrong way. One thing I do appreciate is how they made the characters, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll kind of explain what I mean. So Warner Brothers, if you don't know, are in the search of a director and actor to do a Black Superman movie. Hopefully, no one should take this the wrong way because I'm going to explain what I'm saying. I am totally for a black actor, a black director, a anyone of any race and color to direct or be a star in any other movie. Warner Brothers is doing this because of what Ray Fisher said about Warner Brothers and how they treated him on the Justice League set and their past endeavors with people of other races. That has been coming out. A lot of the stuff that has been happening has been coming out. And Warner Brothers is like, hey, Superman, black, yes. I'm totally for that, but I think the reason why they're doing it is completely wrong. So
Yeah.
when I say that I'm glad they kept the characters the way they were, I just mean that in they kept it true to what it should be. They didn't try to make um Scorpion be played by a white dude
Hmm.
or Sub Zero for that matter. They have a lot of their actors, except for like Sonya and Jax, Kano, are Asian American actors.
Yeah.
So they kind of kept it true. And I don't see that. Like, I think I read a couple things where people were like, oh, that's super racist to be throwing people in there. Why can't there be like equality across everywhere? I'm like, if you want Raiden to be black, just say it.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
don't try to dance around the subject of what you're saying. They're pretty much saying like, you can ignore the source material and let's change things up. Not that that's not a cool thing to do, because they Marvel's done it a lot,
yeah.
where they gender swap or they do something. But I'm just saying that I'm glad they kept it to where it needs to be. Not that I would ever watch it in a different setting, but I'm just glad they kept it where it needed to be, because a lot of the characters in Mortal Kombat are of Asian descent
Yeah.
in some sort of fashion.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, we as an audience deserve a really good starting off point, true to the source material, which is like Mortal Kombat is kind of like a lot of Asian descent. Obviously, you have Jax, who's African American. You have Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage. You have all these different ethnicities. But let's keep it to that first. Let them go with where they're gonna go, and if later on there's a remake of it,
Mhm.
or like say like descendants or people take over as like the elder gods, cool. I don't care. It's just like I personally I want something that's true to the source material, and I want to see people do it good. And I feel like they did it really good now. You know, now
I
they
think they
can
did
kind
a
of
good
start.
job.
Yeah, I think it was a really good movie.
I
Like,
think one thing that kind of let me down in the 95 and 97 version was who they casted for like Raiden and stuff like that.
yeah, that
Kind
they
of,
had 2 tries and they fucked it up.
yeah, they had two tries and still fucked it up. But again, I hope no one sees that as me being a dick or racist. I just think that I appreciate like the representation of it,
Yeah,
more or less. Like I appreciate that it's like they're not trying to. I don't know what it's called. There's a specific word or phrase when you grab a roll and you swap it with a different ethnicity. But it's like pretty much just like gender swap with this
hmm,
ethnicity. Like I'm glad they didn't try to do that, because that would have one pissed a lot of more people off. Two, it probably would have made it not better movie. I just appreciate that they kept it where it is, how it is, and didn't try to change it, because I know Warner Brothers has had a track record of being like super uber racist against certain people. And it's not all of Warner Brothers, obviously. There's some people that are like super cool, but some people aren't.
yeah,
I just think it's cool they kept the representation of where it's at, or
yeah,
where it's at
for
and
sure.
where it needs to be.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. It's what I wanted it to be. It had obviously I don't know every single actor that was in the movie. I don't recognize a lot of the names, but I'm glad they chose who they chose to play those parts because they did a really good job.
Yeah. Um, I don't. Do you have any more pain points or pinpoints you wanted to
No,
point
I
out?
mean I was overall really happy with this movie. Like I thought it was a great movie.
I enjoyed it. I know watching it in the theater was a blast, especially because I watched it with Mary and her brother, and she had to like she jumped or she turned away a couple times because it's just how the movie is. I mean, I know your wife doesn't like gory stuff. Did she watch it
Yeah,
with you, or did you watch it on your own?
I just watched it on my own.
What a loser. Just kidding. Uh, I figured she wouldn't, but I just wanted to see if maybe like you tried to talk her into it.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe sometime soon we'll watch it
Maybe like a
together again.
PG,
But
like a censored version comes out and you can show her.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
They probably will never do that. Just
No,
have her watch
I'll find a way.
95. It's fine.
No,
It's the same
I
exact
wouldn't put
movie,
it through
but
that.
censored.
Just,
It's not the
no,
same exact movie.
no, not gonna happen.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't have any more pinpoints. I really did enjoy this movie. I think it's really good. I'm hoping that there's more that comes out from it.
Mhm.
Whether it be I hope it's a new sequel because in the ending, you see a Johnny Cage poster, and I'm putting it out there now. I want the Miz to be Johnny Cage. I think it'd be super cool to put him in a
Yeah,
movie like that. Other people are putting out for Chris Pratt or Ryan Reynolds.
I wouldn't want Chris Pratt as Johnny Cage. I feel
I
like that's not
probably
him.
wouldn't do it. I can see Ryan Reynolds, but he's also kind of getting older.
Yeah,
I think there was someone else that said, "Oh, Taron Egerton."
yeah, he could.
I think he
I don't
can
know.
do it, but I'm pushing for the Miz. I would really like the Miz to do it, just because as a wrestling fan,
Mhm.
I mean, you probably might remember, but you remember when the Miz did his like Mr. Hollywood character, where it was
Yeah,
like
his own
that's
spotlight
Johnny
and stuff.
Cage. He's
Yeah.
a fighter. I mean, he was a wrestler, but he's a fighter and an actor, and really cares about his movies and thinks he's the big shot. Like that's the Miz, and I think Johnny Cage. Miz would be a perfect Johnny Cage, but I don't cast for movies. If I did, there'd be a lot better casting for certain movies. Justice League. Anyways, I think it'd be super cool if they did more movies.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So I don't really have any other points. I think it'd be super cool if they casted the right people and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think? Your final thoughts before we get into the review or the rating?
I just thought it was really good. Like I don't like obviously the things that I say is just nitpicky as someone. I don't know. I played the game, so I know what the storyline is. But I'm open minded. I thought it was really good. Like I didn't have any like huge pain points. I thought it was a really good movie, and I can't wait to see how they continue off with it.
Yeah. What should we rate this one? Out of
I don't know.
what should our ratings be this one? Because last week we did back or what did we do? Front flipping Dooku's.
Yeah, flipping Dooku.
That was probably the best one we've ever done.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. What's I mean, we can do like Kunai because they gave the Kunai a backstory for some reason.
Yeah, right.
I thought that was cool, but I don't know.
Um, what's something like super ridiculous? You know what?
Hmm.
Let's do one that people have to watch the movie to understand.
Okay.
Let's do garden gnomes
Garden Gnomes. Okay. I like that.
because the garden gnome's like a central character for like two
Yeah.
seasons.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
let's do that.
blank out of blank garden gnomes, or I guess we're doing five. So blank out of five garden gnomes for this movie.
All right. So do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You can go for it if you have an answer.
I want to give it a 4.5 Garden Gnome out of 5. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It was really good. It was a good movie.
Um, I hate agreeing with you. I don't know why. It's a pet peeve. Like I don't like agreeing with you, and it's not because I don't think you make good points. I just think that we shouldn't agree all the time, but we tend to agree with a lot of things. Yeah, I'll have to agree with you on this week. We'll see if I'll agree with you next week. Whatever next week is, I forgot.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I'll have to look while I'm doing the outro. But 4 out of 5 garden gnome or 4.5 out of 5 garden gnomes. Um, I've talked about what I really like about this movie, and it stands. I mean, this movie is gonna be one of those that I'll watch probably on my free time. If it comes
Mhm.
out on Blu-ray, I'm probably gonna buy
Yeah,
Blu-ray. I think it's a Blu-ray.
for sure.
I have a lot of Blu-rays, so it's just another movie in my collection at this point. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5 garden gnomes. But that was our pretty quick review of Mortal Kombat of 2021, just because it had been. Well, I don't even know when it was released.
April
Uh,
16th. I saw it.
did you look it up?
Yeah, I looked it up.
So not even a full month. But that was Mortal Kombat 2021. If you enjoyed this episode, for video watchers, I almost said listeners, for video watchers, leave a like. Want to see more videos like this, please subscribe and share us around. You want to recommend somebody a podcast? We only have 2 episodes up on YouTube. I'm trying to figure out how to get the rest of them up there. But once I can, I'll figure it out. Audio listeners, I mean, go to our links. You'll find the video portion that our ad-free video portion, I might add, will be up at some point. I mean, at some point
Mhm.
tomorrow. We're recording this on the 8th, so we'll be up on the 9th on Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to everybody who are mothers, or Eli, I guess. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah. So next week we will be talking about Without Remorse, a Tom Clancy movie with Michael B. Jordan in the lead. It should be released by like the 20. Well, actually, my dates are all messed up. It'll be released next week, just because my dates are all messed up on my notes. I need to fix that actually. Let me tell you when exactly it's gonna come out. So next week it should be out by the 15th or 16th of May. But Without Remorse is a Tom Clancy movie on Amazon Prime. If you want to watch it ahead time of the episode, you got the free will to do that. Mortal Kombat is streaming on HBO Max for free with an HBO Max subscription. I don't think you can find it anywhere else yet, but once it's gone off HBO Max, you can find it like on Hulu and stuff like that if you want to rent it. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week for Without Remorse. I keep saying because I think I have more things to say, but I don't. Oh, so we're doing Without Remorse that week, and then I will be myself. I will be gone the week next. So maybe you'll get a double feature recording day, or you just won't have an episode for a week, and that's just whatever. Deal with it. We'll figure it out by then, and we'll let you guys know. But we also have a Patreon. If you guys go subscribe to the Patreon and have this, it gives us more incentive to maybe make a Patreon exclusive show, which we've talked about a couple times, and I think it'd be super cool. It has stuff to pertain that is in my room. That's for you to figure out and for us to know. And maybe we'll just do it anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not. I mean, I kind of want more of a sentiment to it, but it'd be kind of fun. Anyways,
Yeah.
so we have a Patreon. If you want to go support our Patreon, it's just $3, $3 whole. I mean, you get the welcome message. We can shout you out each week. You might even be able to send us a message for movie recommendations or movie requests. We'll see. But that has been this episode. And we will see you guys next week for Without Remorse.